Okay, so welcome everyone, and I'm going to do quick introductions, but before I start off with you guys, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ty Fleming. I'm the new program chief for the DBE program. Some of you look familiar to me, so some of you I've definitely met, and then some of you probably have no idea who I am. I took over this position maybe about a month ago, and I've been having just such a great time getting to learn your names, your faces, and your responsibilities, and just meeting a lot of the people that we partner with, some of our DBEs. So I look forward to future meetings with you guys and just learning more about you all. And so let's go down to the list and we can start off with brief introductions. Brian Whip, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yep, that's right. Brian Whip with James Peterson Sons.
Hi, Brian. Elaine Ogilvie.
Ogilvie. Hi, everyone. Elaine Ogilvie. I'm with ALM Holding, also better known as Matthew Construction.
Hi, Elaine. Jesse Friend.
Hello, Jesse Friend, Bureau of Aeronautics, Labor Compliance.
Hi, Jesse. Miss Lori Green. Hi, Lori. Benji.
Good morning, everyone. Benji Hyatt, Westdot DBE Program Engineer.
Hey, Benji. Michael Holker.
Yep, good job with
I
the
mean,
name.
yes.
Michael Holker, the DOT Bureau of Project Development Director.
Hi, Mike. Jessica Peterson.
Hello, Jessica Peterson with Hoffman Construction.
Hi, Jessica. Welcome. Joe Davis. I know you.
Joe Davis from the Construction Business Group.
Brandon Lammers.
Hi, good morning, Brandon Lamers,
Lamers.
sorry, good afternoon. Brandon Lamers, BPD Deputy Director.
Hi, Brandon. Laura Finley.
Hi, Laura Finley. Yep. Oneida Engineering Solutions, Construction Group Manager.
Hi, Laura. Madalena. Madalena, I'm so sorry. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
It's okay.
We know
I never
each other.
say it. I never say it, but it's Maestri.
Maestri.
Federal Highways. Hello.
Hey, Madalena. Matt Grove.
Matt Grove, WTBA. Hi, everyone. Hey, just by the way, before we get started, everybody, it's Joe Davis's birthday today, so I want to make sure everybody knows that.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday.
Let's see. Mike Nate. Or Nate Mike?
No, Mike, first name, Nate, last name. Yeah,
Great.
Kramer, North America.
Hi, Mike.
Yep.
Ijoma?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Ijoma Rock with the DB office. Nice to meet you all.
Hey, Ijoma. Kathleen Panek.
Good afternoon, Kathleen Panic, DBE office.
Hey, Kathleen. Where did I leave off at? Thomas Platts.
It says Thomas, but I go by Max, which is confusing.
Max.
But Max Platts, Aeronautical and Technical Services Section Chief for the Bureau of Aeronautics, and the DBE Labor Compliance Program for Aeronautics is in my section.
Hi, Max. Roz Robertson.
I'm here. Rosalind,
hey,
DB Support Services, Annual Event Coordinator.
Sarah Janice.
Good afternoon, Sarah Janice, Integrity Grading and Excavating. Happy birthday, Joe.
Hi, Sarah. Sharon Nix. Sharon Nix, looks like you're muted. Okay. Well,
Hello.
Hey, Sharon.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay. Becky Shoulderholm, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Becky Soderholm, DBE Compliance Manager for the WISDOT Transit section.
Hi, Becky. And then we have guest Steve. No last name. Can you hear us, Steve? No? Okay, we'll come back. And Tiffany Adelman?
Close. Tiffany Edelman. Hi,
Edelman.
everyone. Good afternoon. I'm with Rock Road Company. Happy birthday, Joe.
Hi, Tiffany. Lucas Ward? Lucas, it looks like you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Very light, not really.
Sorry, I am having struggles. I typed my stuff into the chat, but Lucas Ward, Construction Standards Officer with the Bureau of Aeronautics.
Nice to meet you, Lucas. Alex Guerrero, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe not.
Alex, awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. Alex Izquierdo from the Wisconsin Supplier Diversity Program. Excited to be here.
Hi, Alex. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So thank you. So let's talk about minutes for from the last meeting. Everyone approve of the last meeting? Any questions or comments about the minutes? No?
John Zignago calling in here. I don't know if I was supposed to be naming the call or not, but I am here on the phone. And welcome on Ty as DB Program Chief, and happy birthday, Joe.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, was there anyone else that I may have missed? Anyone else on the line that I didn't call?
Yeah, this is Ann Nishek with Arrow Creek Construction.
Hi, Andy. Anyone else?
This is Steve Heshley with London Construction. I'm sitting in for Shannon Geyer.
Steve, okay. Anyone else?
This is Brad Eberhardt with Huffman Construction Company.
Brand new. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I think we're good. So the minutes from the last meeting, does anyone have any questions or comments about the minutes that were submitted? Okay to approve? Okay, we're approving the minutes. Okay, so now that we have introductions out of the way, can we start with the DBE attainment report and utilization report? Ms. Benji, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Ty. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, are you able to turn your volume up a little bit, Benji?
We'll see. How's that? Is that better?
Oh, it's perfect. Yep. A million
Okay,
percent.
thank you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so this is the DBE attainment report through the April letting for 2024. The modifications are through April 30th of 2024, as well as are the consultant figures. So for overall federal funding and DBE attainment, for as of today, the Fed funds for construction and consulting are at $624,294,000. DBE commitments for consulting come in at 11.2 million. And DBE commitments for construction is at 53.69 million. For a total consultant and construction commitment year to date for 76,572,936. Our overall DBE attainment as of today is 12.27%. We are trending. We do not have the May numbers in yet. So again, this is only through the end of April. Just to break out the I'm sorry. To break out the construction, we have 53,690,000 in commitments, 11 million in after contract modifications for a total of 65,318,526. Right now, our construction funds, Fed funds for construction are right around 790 million. Our consultant Fed funds are about 149 million. So we're looking at that total of about 853. I do need to update that. But just want to make sure that everybody realizes all these numbers are subject to change on a monthly basis, which is determined by the lettings, the DBE commitment modifications, and the federal funding updates. The other document that I want to share with you is the utilization report that shows the after execution DBE commitment increases and decreases. These are our numbers through all approvals for both addition and reductions through the end of April. These numbers will go on the uniform report for the first half of federal fiscal year 2024. As you can see, and as I showed you earlier, we have $11,627,904 dollars in DBE commitment after contract execution. So that is really great. We are slightly ahead of where we were last year at this time. So thank you, everybody, and keep up the good work on using our DBEs and increasing the participation after contract execution. Are there any questions?
Questions? No? Okay. I don't see any hands. So then we'll move on to Ms. Kathleen for the GFE contractor goal attainment.
Yes, thank you, Ty. My report is pretty short. There were 2 GFE requests for the Maylet. Those were in the Southeast region, the Southwest region. Those reviews are still pending. All regions are still exceeding the assigned DBE goal average, and that's based on awarded projects and projects expected to be awarded. Again, those figures can change as BPD makes their awarding decisions. And at the same time last year, May 2023, WSDOT had 7 approved GFE requests. So just wanted to provide that information. So again, I have a fairly short report, but if anyone has any questions, happy to answer those as well.
Kathleen, can you share how many current GFEs we have through April?
Oh, through April, there are 6 approved GFE requests.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I'm going to hand it over to our director, Tondra Davis, for the final rule program updates.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy birthday to Joe. I won't sing. Maybe I'll call you and sing. We don't want to embarrass me, so.
No, please sing. I demand a song.
I'm not doing that. Oh, hold on, you all. Is that right? Okay, you all see your lovely pictures as I get to my PowerPoint? Hopefully. Here we go. Are you able to see the PowerPoint?
We can see it.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So some of you may know, but effective just a couple weeks ago, May 9th, there was a rule update, a DBE final rule update. And so today we wanted to give you kind of a summary of what is included in that update of our Code of Federal Regulations, number 49, part 26. So one thing that they did in the rule update is that they clarified some terms. specifically, there are other ones, but disadvantaged business enterprise, there have been, some hemming and hawing over, some components of that. It essentially remained the same, but they basically clarified and made it not have, any type of interpretation needed. Principal place of business was clarified. And then also with home state, they've kind of eliminated that term. And instead now, and I'll get a little bit more into it as we move on in the presentation, but instead, DBEs have what's called a jurisdiction of certification. So where they are certified initially is considered to be the JOC. And then also unsworn declaration. Previously, there were a lot of things that needed to be notarized and certain signatures and, things like that. So now they're allowing for the DBEs to be able to have an unsworn declaration. So that, that is definitely less cumbersome. So many of the updates were around DBE certification. And so one thing is they are officially allowing the virtual on-site interviews. During the pandemic, they allowed them, but it wasn't necessarily in the CFR. But now it is allowed. States can choose whether they do on-site or go virtually, but they have to be recorded. And then the interstate certification process, that's the process where you get certified in another state. And they made that process a lot less cumbersome as well. The DBE would need to submit a written request asking for their certification in other states, evidence of their certification. So that would mean, they can show that they're on the UCP for a particular state, their JOC jurisdiction of certification. And then finally, there's a form, the declaration of eligibility. And now the process, it has to be determined, the additional states, they have to make a determination within 10 days, which is huge because for some, it took, for some states, it was up to, a 2-year, 1-year process to get certified in another state. With the gross receipts for the next codes, there's now a 5-year average calculation instead of 3 years, which will help when, your gross receipts, when there are anomalies amongst, how much you're making from year to year. There were personal net worth updates. So it's went from 1.32 million to 2.047 million. And then it excludes retirement assets in the personal net worth calculation. It removes state and state marital and community property rules. And then also, around that, the business has to have operations at the time of certification. So it's not enough just to be trained or, but they have to actually have business operations. And we won't elaborate, but there are many updates to the certification, decertification appeal process. Most notably, in all cases, they're reducing the amount of time that is allowable in many of those. They made updates to the DBE control of company. So now you can only have a parent company, not a grandparent company. And in some cases, we would see, a great grandparent and a great great grandparent. So only you can count the DBE up to the parent company. The business has to be independently viable, which means it can't exist because other businesses exist, either non-DBE or DBE. And then, huge in the control of the company is that the majority owner has to run the show. And they really have identified what that means, on a large level, that the majority owner has to make decisions without consent of other non-disadvantaged individuals. They have to hold the highest position. They need to be in control of the board of directors, and they have to have an understanding of the operations of the business, make independent major decisions, and also demonstrate that they have a chain of command, that there's someone reporting to them or that they're, giving direction to staffing in the company. Some of the other updates had to do, one with the UCP directory. They've added some things, but Wisconsin, the thing that we most notably will have to do is add websites. So we are in the process of, figuring that out internally. Prompt payment, no real big change for Wisconsin because we are currently at 10 days and they have 30 days at the federal level, but they are certainly encouraging states to have less time. They are creating a US DOT portal. And so that will allow the monthly bid letting data to be entered. We don't know the cadence of it. Will we have to enter it every month, every quarter, but that direction is coming. There will be a bidders list. And the bidders list will have DBEs and non-DBEs. This is something that we're also looking to do because the information that they are collecting or want us to collect on some of the bidders, race, gender, NAICS code, and most specifically annual gross receipts. That's not necessarily information that we're collecting. And we also have, actually statutes that say that companies have to agree to share some of this type of information. So that's certainly going to be something that we'll need to work through and work with FHWA to figure out how we can certainly comply to this in the final rule. So there will be for the OEPP, I'm mind if I didn't, open-ended performance plan for design build. The primes will have to submit an open-ended DBE performance plan, or it's called a DPP with their RFP, request for proposal. Add as many acronyms as we can. And so those DPPs will have to include the type of work for the DBEs and then the projected timeline for subcontract fruition. So when do we expect the DBEs to have completed, or what is the time in which we're expecting the DBEs to come onto the project? And so there will have to be a goal for the DBEs on the projects. And with that, we will be required to monitor compliance to the requirements of the open-ended performance plan, as well as any good faith efforts around it. And then finally, we'll talk about the suppliers. So they now have supplier categories, not just dealer, but also distributor or drop shipper. And for us to identify which category our suppliers fall in, there's a pre-award supplier affirmation form that will be required for our bidders, our primes to submit when they bid on a project. And so the dealer is identified, they have a physical location for supplies, and dealers will be given a 60% DBE credit. Distributors, ones that don't have a physical location, they get information, they get the supplies from the manufacturer, and then they deliver them to the project or to the site. And those will be given a 40% credit. And so that distributor drops shipper is a new subset of the definitions. So those are the primary updates that we feel are kind of outward facing. There are certainly some more internal ones, especially around certification, that we are working to address and to include in our standard operations. But are there any questions?
For monitoring the DBE quotes coming in, hi, John from Zignago. The DBE quotes, would that be something that non-low bidders might potentially have to submit to? Or is that something that's going to be part of the bid submittal process for all bidders, or just the low bidder, or case by case, or too early to say possibly even on any of those? Thank you.
John, thank you for the question. My understanding is bidders on the project will have to submit that form. So at the time of bid, they will submit it, because we would not know who's going to be the low bidder. So everyone has to submit it.
Got it. So it's going to be an other attachment in Ashtaware, it sounds like, right?
We're working through that. What we're hoping to do, one idea, and certainly we haven't arrived at a solution yet. But one thing we're hoping to do is update the attachment A that will have this form appended to it. So as you're doing the attachment A as a part of that, so you won't have to have a whole new form to submit. That is our hope. Hopefully we'll be able
Well, it's my hope too. Now that you told me, it's my hope too. Yeah, because that would save a lot of time just by the way you.
Right.
sound-
So we're hoping,
sounded it.
hopefully we won't run into
Awesome.
any snags with that, and we can proceed in that vein. But like I said, we are this is like 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks into this, and we're figuring things out. So, but that is the plan. We want to make it as I don't want to use the word easy, but we don't want it to be really hard for you guys. Right? Who has their hand up? I think it's Joe.
Joe Davis.
Hey,
Happy
Tanja,
birthday. I'm gonna say that.
thank you. I appreciate you. I got a question about the annual gross receipts. Now, is that just federally funded annual gross receipts, or is that federal and non-federal gross receipts that DBEs now will have to report?
It's all gross receipts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elaine?
Hi, everyone. Can you provide just kind of what you feel the difference is then between the distributor and the broker?
So this is in Ty or in company DB program jump in if I misspeak. So the distributor, as I said, the distributor does not have a physical location. So I am a distributor. I work from my office, and supplies are needed. I call a manufacturer. I have it delivered. Maybe even I deliver it myself, but I don't have a location to store these supplies. So that is what a distributor drop shipper is. Now, if I'm a dealer, and in my mind, I had to think of this as a car dealership, okay? I don't know if that helps anybody, but you go to the dealership, there's all the cars there. So they're already there. You go and you're able to get your car, right? So that's what the dealer is. They have a physical location where, they have things in stock, and then those are delivered to the project site. Does that clarify? Does that answer your question, Elaine?
Not really.
Sorry.
I think when I'm going, and maybe in the past, and as far as I know, it's still in regulation, but there was always the verbiage in there about a broker, and that the broker was very similar to what we're showing as distributor. And in the past, we used to get very limited credit for a broker. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that, but Madalena, I think, has her hand up. Maybe she can shed some light on that.
Let me just say one thing before she does, though. But so I would say, distributor is probably more closely associated with a broker. But yes, Madalena.
So in the past, and it was very rare, that WISDOT would handle that broker as kind of a 10%, even the regulation doesn't say it's 10% exactly. I think Elaine's spot on in that this situation that now is given a 40%, WISDOT would have considered that a 10%. So if there's kind of a silver lining in this supplier changing and all of the forms updating that need to happen, it is that there's now this opportunity for a 40% where it would have previously been a 10 or possibly not extended at all. Does that help?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because it seems the distributor sounded exactly like a broker. They don't have a supply warehouse. They're not, they're drop shipping it. So yeah, that is great news. Thank you.
Yeah, we find many of the updates are certainly in favor of the DBE. So Any other questions, comments?
Is truck broker still 10%?
Yes.
Well,
Thanks,
let's
Paul.
clarify that because are you, in what aspect are you saying the broker? Are you a DBE firm or a non-DBE firm looking to bring on? Because then you have to look at the DBE utilization policy, trucking.
DBE firm using non-DBE firm under them.
Yes,
I'm
it is
dealing with
10.
DBE.
Yeah, it's 10% if you're a DBE firm. However, you do have to have your DBE truck or a DBE subcontractor in order for that credit, that 10% commitment to apply. So say you had a contract and you're, as a DBE firm, you're bringing in, say, 5 non-DBE truckers, but none of your trucks or a DBE truck is on that project, then you will not count for the 10% credit. It's only if it's only activated by a DBE firm being on the project as well.
So no changes there. Thanks, Paul.
No problem.
All right. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Thanks, Madalena, for adding to that. Let's go to ALM Holding Company for DB Spotlight Prime Contractor. Did you guys have announcements?
So this is Elaine again. I don't think Brent from Monarch Paving, are you on? I don't think so.
No.
That's okay. So I will kind of walk through this a little bit. So just to provide some clarification, ALM Holding is just, I'm an ALM Holding employee. It's just corporate for Matthew Construction. I'm the corporate EEO officer, but our spotlight today is from Monarch Paving, one of Matthew's divisions. And Monarch in Amory, the headquarters for Monarch is where my office is. So this particular project was near and dear to our hearts because this is a particular roadway that many of us travel every day. So in terms of, you know, when we start thinking about, well, what project do we highlight? And it was difficult because Monarch has, and all the Matthew companies have a really good relationship with their DBE firms. So in terms of this one, you know, this particular project, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the details of the project. It was a very, you know, it was 14 miles of pavement, and this particular roadway has a lot of really tight curves, a lot of very steep hills. And so it was just challenging in that way. It turned out to be a beautiful road that is used by a lot of people. And I think the significance is that we had great cooperation with all of our subcontractors, especially our DBE firms, to finish this project a month ahead of schedule. So there was a 3% DBE goal. Monarch doubled that. And you see the list of DBE firms there on the left-hand side of the newsletter. And you know, with all of our projects, we have great respect for our DBE firms. You know, it's with them that we're as successful as we are with all of our projects. I will say that we, as a paving company, rely heavily on our DBE trucking firms and have always had a good relationship with the trucking firms that we have. This particular project, because there was just a lot of hauling, and to the point where, actually, I think there's some numbers in there. Yeah, 2,100 hauling hours, which is a lot. And towards the end, we needed to increase the amount of trucks that we needed. And we called one of our trucking firms kind of on the spot, and you know, they were willing to add some trucks. I think they added 3 to their fleet to help us out on this project. And it wasn't really any questions asked. And so, this really isn't any different than any of our other projects. And I'll just say that that's the kind of relationship that we have with our DBE firms. You see the tanker truck down at the bottom, that is Karen's Trucking. We have a great relationship with Karen's, and the expansion into that tanker was kind of a combination of our request to her and then her request back to Monarch in terms of, okay, if I get this tanker, are you going to keep me busy? And the answer was yes. So it's those type of detailed conversations that we have with our firm. So overall, I think that I can speak for the rest of the company, all of the especially Monarch, but all the divisions when I say that our DBE firms are very important to us and part of our success. And we just look forward to continuing to work with the new firms that come across. I know NMR Contractors is a new firm to our region, and she is very busy. We keep her very busy, and she's been wonderful. So we're always looking for new firms, ways that we can break things out and give more work to DBEs that come into our industry and into our region. I think that there's definitely, as Joe knows, and the rest of the people on this call know, that the Northwest region struggles with having enough DBEs to go around. So again, the relationships we have with the firms that we have are very important to us, and we wanted to somewhat thank them and highlight their contributions in this newsletter. So with that, I don't know, Benji, if you have any questions for me that you want to point out. Brent, I see, is here on the line. Brent, if you have anything to add, feel free. I probably covered it pretty well, but I know Brent is very appreciative of the DBE firms too. Brent is the division manager for Monarch Paving, so I'll let him say a few words if there's anything.
Yeah, no, we do really well. We have some great partners on the DBE side. Obviously trucking, but in a lot of other realms. So helps us get our work done. We need all the help we can get. It's hard, to find people and businesses. So the more help we can find, the better off we are. And these firms do an excellent job that we work with, for sure.
Benji, did you have anything to add? No? Any questions?
Well, Tandra did have her hand up, so I'll
I'm
let
sorry,
Tandra
Tandra.
go.
Tandra, sorry, Tandra.
Oh, no worries. Elaine, I just want to thank you and Monarch. This is really wonderful to see, you pretty much doubling the goal, and just hearing you speak about this and your desire to, use new firms and not always use the same ones. And, these are just really things that we are, that help our program be so successful. So I just wanted to just really give you kudos and accolades to Monarch Paving. And thank you to all the DBEs who represented well on this project. Thank you.
Benji, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, just real quickly. Yeah, Monarch Paving, Elaine, you guys do great. We do get really good feedback from the firms that are working with you on these projects. So that's always good to hear both sides of, the story coming in. The other thing too is with the new rules and certifications, some of those rules now, it's a little bit easier for out of state. If you guys are using any out of state contractors that it may be DBE, for them to get certification in our state, as well as if you know of firms that might potentially qualify for DBE certification, send them our way. And John Franklin, who is our senior certification analyst, can take those companies through the process, and a great way to continue bolstering the program and getting more firms available for you guys in those areas. So thank you. Good job.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elaine, Brent. just for staying so committed and being committed to the program and helping out the DBEs. We really do appreciate it. So thank you. Anyone have any
Joe
questions at
has
all?
his hand up.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Ty, so I got a quick story about Elaine and I. You know,
Sure.
whether you want to call us Ebony and Ivory or the Batman and Robin or whatever, I don't know what you want to call us, but you know, Elaine contacted me and says, "Hey, Joe, I want to do some outreach up here in the northwest region." So we got together some DBEs. We put together a meeting. Brett was there, it's not so. It is a commitment that when we got the room filled with DBEs, how they sat there and they talked about expectations, but also talked about the opportunities. But there's one instance I want to share with you. It was 2 certified DBEs that came from Milwaukee. You remember this, Elaine, right? I mean, 2 certified DBEs came from Milwaukee. They got there late because they were driving a Tesla and forgot to charge their car. So they got there extremely late. And so when they arrived, Elaine and Brent did not leave that meeting until they actually gave them an update on what we all had discussed before. So sometimes, you know, these primes, they don't get, well, maybe, you know, when you're in the business atmosphere, you know, there's always some disagreements. But on this point, as far as commitment is concerned, I've seen it firsthand. So I always like to give those real type of stories when, you know, you got these primes that are out here that's really trying to give subcontractors who have DBE certification an opportunity. So that's my story for Elaine. And she didn't kick me out of her office either when I became very boisterous. So.
Okay, thanks for
I
that.
tried, but he wouldn't leave. No.
Thank you, Joe. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
that.
everyone.
Did anyone have any questions at all for Elaine or Brent? Is it okay if we open the floor up to that? Okay. Any questions? Okay. So then let's move forward with industry check-in issues, open the agenda. I'll just kind of go down the list here on our agenda. American Indian Chamber of Commerce. Did you guys have any comments? Anything you wanted to mention here to the group? I don't see any hands. Okay. CBG, Joe Davis and team.
Well, yeah, once again, I want to highlight another meeting, the great meeting that I had yesterday with Tiffany Adelman from Rock Roads. And sometimes it really is about not taking somebody's opinion about a company. You got to build those relationships yourself. And Tiffany and I, you know, I thought it was going to be maybe about a half an hour meeting. We sat there for about almost an hour and a half, 2 hours talking about strategy. And here's somebody who's committed, you know, a lawyer, prosecutor, come here to Wisconsin, just love the family feel. And it's good to have those type of folks in those positions because it really does equate to opportunities. So I just wanted to say, Tiffany, I appreciate your meeting yesterday. And I look forward to working with you and thank you for the swag. We are working, as most of you know, about a funding package for WISDOT, also private partnership. And we just look forward to continue to push that envelope as we build this partnership. So thank you very much. That's our report.
Great. Thanks, Joe.
Sure.
FHWA, Madalena, did you have anything you would like to add?
Sure, I'll just be brief. And Tandra, excellent job going over all of those points. I know that it's complex and pretty widespread and it's hitting on multiple fronts. Good news is that WISDOT has been ahead of the game on so many of these things. So there will be changes to reporting mechanisms in some cases, and of course the new types of reporting tools that FHWA will come up with. But I think that WISDOT is really poised to step into this, into these regulatory changes. Bidders list will be challenging, and you know, we'll work on it together. I'm your team over here on the federal side, so really looking forward to working with the DBE team again, and Tandra on you know, really you guys will be doing the lift, but I'll be here as a sounding board and trying to just help you hit the points that we need to do. And of course, you've got a great ally in industry as well. So so while these are changes, this industry is fairly nimble for such a big machine. So so that those are important, and again, really nice job translating that, Tandra, because there are some complexities there. And then I just wanted to mention again strategic workforce development efforts, because there seems to be something new that happens every other week or so, where there's some interest from now U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary's Office related to the Milwaukee Workforce Development Hub, and how to maybe tap into what has been developed through HCST, formerly the TRANS program. I just sat in on a meeting today where the Secretary's Office had brought together, and US DOT Secretary, all the building trades. And so, and Steve Buffalo was there. So I was like, okay, all right. So we got, I know that the operating engineers there and laborers were there, and electrical. And so anyways, it was a great group of the building trades who are all talking about different strategies for success, and some that I had not heard before. So I'll definitely be following up with Michael in compliance, but just passing on that, and you all have been part of those efforts too, in trying to look at how to develop a more robust workforce, because there's a lot of work out there, and you got to get people into the trades. So I'll keep giving little brief updates here when I come, because I think it is relevant, because everybody needs strong labor. So so those are my brief updates, and here if you have questions about the regulation. Thanks.
Thanks, Madalena. NAMAC? Anything to add today? WTBA? Anything to add to the conversation today?
Yeah, I had just one question. There seemed to be a number of unresponsive bids in the last letting. Does anybody have any insight on, was it anything specific, or what was happening with that, so we can make sure that that doesn't happen moving forward?
For the unresponsive bid. Benji, did you have anything to add to that?
John Zanago here. I had one of them for my company, and it was a project where I thought the goal was at 3%, and not even. And I sent it in thinking that I had met the goal. So it was an internal error on the one that Zignago had unresponsive on. My error.
Matt, I think there were a few with non-traditional bidders too for some of the projects, at least one or two of the projects that were out there.
Okay. I didn't really look into it that closely. I just got some phone calls wondering if something had changed or whatever. So I was assuming it was more than that. But okay.
Yeah, we didn't see any overarching, it just was a lot of miscellaneous. And Benji, I don't know if you want to add something to it, but it was each bidder had their own kind of thing going. So not anything consistently across the board.
I believe
if I
it.
may, oh,
Yep, go ahead. Sorry, Benji.
if I may, one of the things that we always stress in all of our publications, our communications with both the primes and the DBEs, is to make sure that they are reporting the correct amount of DBE credit. If they're subcontract to perform work outside of what they're certified to perform for DBE credit, that is, they can do that. However, when they send in a quote, we always ask the primes to make sure that they're identifying with the DBE the items that count towards credit. We're also telling the DBEs that if you're submitting a quote, that has other items that you do not receive DBE credit on, to make sure that you are identifying those and giving the Prime the DBE credit portion that they can put towards the goal. So we had a couple of those. But as Tandra said, you know, there were just several little different things going on in each one, plus new bidders. So
Any other questions? Okay, well then I'll open the floor. Anyone else, as far as check-in, wanted to discuss, mention, announce anything? No? Okay. So then, our next Transact meeting will happen on the 16th of.
It looks like there's a hand
Roz
up.
has a
sorry,
hand
Oh,
up.
Roz.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Roz.
Hi, everybody. This is Rosalind Roberson. I just wanted to mention, I always want to mention our annual DB Summit is coming up in January. So I'm already doing some pre-planning, and I heard Madalena speak. So give me some ideas on speakers or workshops for, I know she talked about the workforce development. And I think I would like to do something on workforce development since it is a hot topic. So I hope you would send me some ideas on speakers, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Roz. Anyone else? Looks like we have a hand.
Lori.
Lori?
Yeah, just two quick questions for my minutes. I have somebody here named Ashley Bowman. I was wondering if you could tell me where you were from. I don't think you got a chance to introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm with Integrity Grading and Excavating. We have offices in Schofield and Madison.
Thank you, Ashley. And Brian Whiff, I can't remember where you're from. Did he leave?
He's muted. Brian, it looks like you're muted.
I'm with James Peterson Sons.
Thank you.
Thank you. So then my announcement, our next meeting will be July 16th, 1 p.m. Many of you guys may know this already, but our support services office was temporarily relocated to Southeast Region office in Waukesha. And our staff numbers have not changed. So if you need to get a hold of us, you want to continue to use the same numbers. I guess I'll open the floor up for any other questions, or else we can adjourn.
Alex,
Tandra, I'm sorry, Tandra, you're going to say something. Alex, I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody. In the chat, I put the NFL draft is coming to Green Bay in 2025. In the NFL, there is a 2025 draft supply diversity informational session that's happening next week. And then there's going to be 3 other sessions that are coming up as well, 2 other sessions. And so all that information is on the website that I just shared in the chat. And please feel free to cascade that out to your networks. I know they're taking all sorts of certified businesses, not just MBE, DVB, or WBE. I know DBE is a big topic as well, or a big certification that they're looking for. And I just thought I'd share that. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Anyone else have, Joe Davis?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to be transparent. Tandra, I volunteered y'all to become involved in Marketplace with the I-94 mega project. What the topic was that Gene was looking for additional workshops that he can do. And we were talking about economic development. And I know currently right now that your team is working on, participation on the I-94 project, the mega project. But he also was interested in the stadium project where it's going to actually spur some development, which is along that economic development corridor. So might be an opportunity for your crew, Ty, to really kind of talk about what that project is going to look like, because it's very rare that you can get close to $1 billion in one specific economic area, especially when you have so much vertical construction. But now we've got horizontal construction. And as you know, those arterials are going to bring additional land for building construction also. So just know that I did suggest that at Marketplace, that New Topics would possibly be that I-94 project that you guys can talk about how it's going to spur economic development. So.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Tandra,
You're
is your
welcome.
hand up?
Yes, my hand is up. Happy birthday again, Joe. I don't know if it's your birthday or my birthday with the work you're giving us, but we're happy to certainly showcase and highlight the work that we're doing and bring in our partners from Southeast region. So yeah, we look forward to being able to do that. But I also wanted to just share with the group, we do have a vacant position, our Equal Opportunity Specialist Senior position. It is a DBE certification specialist, so we're putting it out there. It is currently on our website, WISC Jobs, WISC Jobs. So if we're looking for a diverse, broad, applicant pool. So if you know of anyone, please refer them. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Tandra. Anyone else have anything to add? No? Okay, well then I'll hope you all at the next meeting on July 16th, 1 p.m. Thank you all for participating. Have a good one.